So as you guys probably know, in Ohio, it is cold now. And that's very disappointing for the pond because it's not as active as it was. But there's still frogs in here that have been interacting and everything, and I see them every once in a while. But once it starts snowing, I'm sure they'll go into hibernation. And also we have all this water hyacinth in here, and it's starting to die off. And that is because water hyacinth isn't, like a native plant, it's a tropical plant. So I'm gonna go ahead and get all that out. I'm gonna get all the water hyacinth out and all these leaves on the surface. I'm just gonna grab them out, get my hands really cold. And that's just what I'm gonna do right now. And then I'll bring the water hyacinth in and I'll try to grow it inside because I'm having a lot of success with that inside, and I can use the plants, inside and with my turtle tanks. And then the leaves, I'm gonna put in a separate bucket because I can use those for my terrarium. So because they've all been in water now, they don't have any insects or anything on them. So actually I'm gonna still sanitize them, but I have a bunch of other leaves as well that are in the 300 gallon that I am going to sanitize as well. So a lot of these are from this bush. I don't know if they're safe for the animals, but I don't think it'll be too much of an issue either way. So I'm just gonna get those out, and it'll prevent a lot of these leaves. There's a lot of leaves already on the bottom, and I'll clean those up. I'll clean those out come next year. But for now, I just don't want this many leaves to sit on the bottom and rot and then kill the fish. So I don't really know what's gonna happen with the pond over the winter, but we'll kind of see. We're just gonna kind of figure it out. I really don't know how it'll go. Here, I'm gonna take you back out here. And this isn't really a tutorial because I honestly don't know what's going to happen after now. And this is my first season of having a pond that'll stay up all year round. So I'm not entirely sure how it's supposed to work. But I'm going to take you back here because here I have a lot of leaves that I think I'm going to take the time to sanitize today. Okay, I'm going to stop myself right there because I know you guys can't handle the excitement of both sanitizing leaves and bringing plants in the same video. So in the next video, I will be putting my hands in the water and getting the leaves out and then sanitizing the leaves and everything like that. So stay tuned for that, and I'll talk about sanitizing everything and a bunch of stuff. So that is just extraordinarily cold, and then I remembered about these cool things called nets. So I'm going to take the water hyacinth inside. It has some leaves on it. I don't really care. I'm going to spread it between two of my tanks because they can use the extra filtration that plants provide, and these plants will do well in those tanks. And it'll probably spread some algae, like whatever, or string algae. Algae is a natural thing, so it doesn't bother me in aquariums because you can't find a natural water source without algae in it. I have a good amount of experience with adapting water lettuce to inside growth, and this is a really good example of what the difference of inside growth and outside growth is if you haven't tried to move it over to growing inside. So here we have the outside growth. It grows upwards. Now this is pretty sad looking because a lot of it's dying off because of the cold, but like right here, that needs taken off, thrown away. And that's kind of what will happen when you bring it inside as well. It's the same type of deal, just when you bring it inside, it'll do the same thing, but it should turn out like this. So you can see how flat these are. All the little ones are flat, just circular. It looks a lot more like duckweed, actually, but you can see this one was grown outside. A lot of these ones just came off of this one, and you can see the new leaves versus the old leaves as well. So these ones will kind of flatten out essentially over time, and as they produce more, they will come out, and they don't get as big generally. They kind of stay smaller than the ones grown outside, and that's kind of what will happen with these guys. So that is just, it is very possible, and I can tell you it's very possible because I just have a shop light. It's not anything special. I mean, I guess, I don't think it's a grow light. I think it's like a day light or something like that. It's not anything special, trust me. It's just pretty much an LED shop light that I have over here, and a UVB light, which I don't think factors into that. It could, but I doubt it. but the UVB light is just for the turtle, of course. So that is why I have that. But I'm trying to get off, because what's going to happen is these will die off, and it gets this really weird, like, moldy look. It's not mold, but it looks like mold, and it's kind of like this, and it's gross. So if I can just rip that off and throw it away, then it won't go into the tank and get all gross. So, and it leaves like a very, like a mold looking thing on the surface of the water, which is very strange. But again, it's not, as far as I'm aware, it's not mold. So ideally you get that off right away if it is like this. But hopefully these will be able to adapt all right, because they were just in like freezing waters, and now they're in like 70-degree waters. So that's quite a shock. I don't know if plants experience the shock like that, but like I don't know if that's detrimental to plants, that is. But hopefully they will adapt, they'll kind of flatten out and do well in here. And they'll then provide lots of really long roots. I don't know if the ones inside produces long roots, or if the turtles just kind of rip the long roots off, but I haven't experienced them to have a super long roots inside. But again, that could just be the turtles ripping the roots off. So I just plopped a ton of them in here, and I gotta kind of sort it out to get them. So as you can see, there's a lot of leaves coming in with these. That's all right. I kind of like having leaves in the aquarium because it makes it look more natural, because that is, I mean, aquatic areas have leaves in them. That's how trees work and everything. So I think it's pretty cool to just have some leaves and stuff. But here I'm trying to get these to get upright, and there's a lot that have grown inside, but for some reason they keep going over in this area, which then they get under this thing and they don't get any light, which is really disappointing. So I need to try to put like a barrier right here, under here, to prevent that. But for now, this will fill up the whole area, and then they'll stay over here. But the water hyacinth is doing well, has been doing well as well. But it does kind of a similar thing, I would describe. It kind of flattens out. It grows differently for sure. Not as tall, not as big, and it's kind of having trouble. So I'm wondering if it's gonna make it. I don't know. It's very possible that it won't, but it seems to be doing pretty well. I have another piece in another tank that has even less lighting, and that piece is doing pretty well as well. So just doing very similarly, and that's all pretty interesting, I think. But I got all these upright, and I don't think any of them are flipped over or anything. So that should be good for the turtles. That'll give the turtles lots of area to interact with. And I'm just taking off all this dead bit. But here you can see the real long roots entangled with all the, and here you can see like no roots at all, because those are the old ones. And then we have leaves along the bottom, as it should be. So that's how nature is, I guess. As you can see, there's kind of like powder, like mold look that comes off of these dead bits. It's kind of like it falls apart a little bit. Oh, there's a spider. So yeah, there's probably going to be some pests that come in on here. I don't think there's too many water bugs or insects out right now, so that's why I'm not too worried about it. Like, I don't even see any of the surface mite looking things that I normally see. There's a little bug right there. But I already have an absolute ton of mosquitoes in my room for some reason, which is really weird. Like, they are just down on this level. I see them in my bathroom a lot because I think they like to sit on the side of my shower. Oh, there's a turtle. And drink the water or whatnot. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but it's very similar to how I'd find them on the sides of the turtle tubs. This turtle's coming up. But I don't know. They can't be from my tanks because I have fish in my tanks. My fish would eat any mosquito larvae, but this is very interesting. I really like the natural look that this gives it, and we have turtles coming up and stuff, but we have this log coming out of the water, so I'll find the turtles sitting up here, and that's all right because there is, in fact, UVB going there. So while they can't completely dry off, they can get UVB right there, so that's good. And that's just really cool to see turtles, like, from this perspective. It looks a lot more like you have a pond in your room. Okay guys, so that's it for this video, and I know I said it wasn't really a tutorial, but what I said was actually pretty accurate of what I've found even since then. I mean, this was all filmed on November 13th, of 2020, and it's currently February 17th of 2021, and a lot of the stuff that I said, it has been very consistent since then. And I have honestly not been super successful in growing this with turtles and goldfish. They kind of ruin things, but I have in smaller tanks that only have fish, and the results have been essentially the same. And I think I'll have enough plantage to get things going really crazy during the summer again. So that is exciting. Also, I'd like to say that Shelled Reptiles, which is another YouTuber, is featured on the channel. I'll leave a link or something somewhere at the end of this video. His channel is much bigger than mine, but we live near each other kind of, and he gave me these plants from his ponds and stuff. He had them growing like crazy in his area throughout the summer, so that's really cool. And I wanted to say that because that is how I obtained these plants. He gave them to me. So hope that you guys enjoyed, and I hope this helped. Just don't worry if they're like melting back and stuff. They're just kind of gonna do that. And I have really cheap, crappy lights, and I've still made it work. I mean, the light is like a 3-foot light that was like $13 or something like that at Menards, and it has been working to grow both water lettuce and water hyacinth to decent extent inside throughout the winter. And then the other ones are shop lights. They worked really well, and they would work really well, except the turtles and the fish kind of ruin everything. So that is what has happened, and that is how you do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like it down below. If you have any comments or concerns, put comments below. And if you want content like that fantastic video about sanitizing leaves that's coming out tomorrow, oh boy, you better subscribe.